While The Elder Scrolls and The Witcher are often seen as the benchmark of Western role-playing games, the Gothic series from former developer Piranha Bytes is also worthy of recognition within the upper echelon of the subgenre. The original Gothic and its sequels became cult classics for the scale of player choice and free-form, open-ended exploration within their dark fantasy setting, which has even inspired developers at CD Projekt Red and Warhorse Studios with their work in the genre. With the upcoming remake of Gothic 1, developer Alchemia Interactive is giving the original game a reappraisal not only to showcase its lasting strengths, but also to expand the world and its community of characters to create a more satisfying, consequence-driven setting. We were able to get an exclusive first look at a brand new quest line added in the Gothic remake, along with seeing just how much of an upgrade the remake aims to give the classic dark fantasy RPG.
If there's a way out of here, I'll find it.
Another one of those. Finally. Just you wait.
Players take on the role of a nameless hero trapped within a mining colony taken over by prisoners. After a magical ritual seals the colony underneath an impenetrable barrier, turning it into a lawless state, the hero is tasked with finding one of the few magic users hiding away from the brewing conflict amongst rival factions. As the hero navigates the world that the prisoners have made within the colony, they'll pick up new skills, uncover ways to take down opposing groups, and potentially find a way to destroy the barrier sealing the colony. The original Gothic was essentially a dark fantasy spin on John Carpenter's Escape from New York, resulting in a notably darker take on a role-playing game in 2001. But the hook that really made Gothic a seminal RPG was its approach to open-world gameplay, which, in 2001, was still finding its footing. Essentially, you're tasked with uncovering the mystery behind the barrier however you see fit. The remake does well to maintain the original strengths in player choice and the web of characters with their own agendas, all while making noticeable upgrades to storytelling that creates better context to deepen that setting.
What do you want?
Lee sent me. What are you doing out here? Looking for magical vibrations?
The remake largely sticks to the original structure and style, and the developers put a particular focus on upgrading the foundations and scale of the core game. In that sense, the developers aren't going for a big reimagining. It's really more about remaking Gothic 1 with modern visual and gameplay flourishes that new and returning players can appreciate. Generally, the upgrades in visual style, gameplay, and storytelling really do wonders to flesh out the dark fantasy world of Gothic further, enhancing the sense of navigating a bleak yet still intriguing setting that can fall into chaos at any moment. However, I couldn't help but feel that the remake's scope felt more like a souped-up 2000s PC or original Xbox-era game, which sometimes felt a bit overly modest. Still, it does aim to capture the tone and vibe of Gothic, which it succeeds well at so far.
The vibrations are getting stronger. We're getting closer.
Gothic also has a particularly unique approach to character growth, which is often decided by what your playstyle is and which side you landed with to receive training, such as the Brotherhood of the Sleeper faction, who believe that an ancient god was responsible for the barrier. Along with learning advanced fighting styles and ranged combat, you can also figure out how to scale walls, forge new gear, and pick up magical spells that allow for mind control and transformation. The consequences of these choices as you navigate the colony can result in some drastically different outcomes for quests and character interactions.
Look who it is.
It all ties into the hard-edged approach of classic Gothic, which the remake is aiming to retain for the most part. There are, of course, very welcome changes to combat, navigation, and tracking of key quests, and a new glossary to make this adventure more manageable. The core action still retains the look and clunky flow of early 2000s action RPG combat, which certainly has an appeal, but it feels easier to grasp this time around, thanks to enhanced movement, lock-on, and modern combat physics. However, you can still easily find yourself in a bad spot by making some ill-advised decisions or picking fights with those who can easily overpower you. That said, if certain players want to take on a more daring approach and cut through the island and nearly every inhabitant, the developers stated that you can do that as well. In our exclusive footage, we got to see a new quest line added in for the remake, focusing on the hero helping the water mage Mixer, a familiar character from the sequels. The remake gives Mixer a new storyline in the first entry, in which the hero helps him acquire new magic on the coast near the colony. It's a new addition that not only expands the setting's scope, but also showcases the deeper lore running throughout the series. But where the remake aims to leave a bigger mark is in the expanded storytelling and characterization of the colony's inhabitants. According to Reinhard Paulus, the studio head of Alchemia Interactive, one of the critical upgrades they wanted was to add more context and character depth for all supporting NPCs. In addition to nearly every character having their own daily routines and agendas, the added storytelling does more to make different characters feel less one-dimensional and to further a sense of moral ambiguity in Gothic. This, in turn, expands opportunities for player choice and the sense of consequence within the story.
Do you do everything the mages ask of you?
Within reason. Generally speaking, though, yeah, as long as they pay.
An especially welcome change happening with the remake is the more respectful representation of female characters. A controversial aspect of the 2001 game was the presence of enslaved women in the colony who were background characters and non-interactable. But in the remake, female characters are more developed, with proper agency, who the hero can learn more about. Another welcome addition to the remake is the expansion of the orc faction as more than just a one-dimensional antagonist. This is a great upgrade because it further aligns with Gothic's approach to navigating by using every outlet and connection you have to accomplish your goals. There's often a tricky balance with examining what to re-examine and what to keep when remaking games, but the Gothic 1 remake from Alchemia Interactive certainly looks to give the original series a much-needed reappraisal in the right ways. Along with leaning even further into the stories that are made with every choice, it's making some commendable updates for storytelling and removing some unsavory aspects of the 2001 version. And so far, Gothic 1 Remake has the makings for a worthy reinvention of a classic RPG series. For more on the latest upcoming games, check out our recent previews of Saros and Outbound. And of course, for everything else in the world of video games, stick with IGN.